Okay. Uh, good afternoon, everybody. This is Sharmila back again for our Saturday live. Today we have a very special person. I know every session I say I bring in special people, but today we have a young man, Vaibhav Pandya, who has chosen to live his life differently. He's made certain life choices that help him, that have kind of focused on his own inner growth and his contribution to our society, to the environment, and so on. And I feel really privileged to have him on our session. And before I, start asking him to introduce himself, I must say that tomorrow we also have another session with Vaibhav on the occasion of on the birthday of Einstein, and also the Pi Day. So we are going to have a wonderful session with him on that, and so everybody is welcome to join that session. You can find information on that session on our Homeschooling India page. So over to you, Vaibhav. uh, I would start by asking you to share something about yourself, give a brief introduction about yourself. What do you do now, and so on. So yes. Oh, I think we've lost him. I hope to see him back again soon. Okay, so we have lost Vaibhav. Probably he has a poor internet connection and he should be back. Yeah, yeah, here he is back again. Uh, so, Vaibhav, could you share something about yourself? Hi, Vaibhav, can you hear me? Yeah. Hi,
Hello,
Vaibhav.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can
Hello,
hear you. So, we can hear you. Can you hear me? Hi,
hello,
Vaibhav.
can
Can
you
you?
hear?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh, he's gone again. Hope to get him. Okay. Okay, he's back again. Can you hear me, Vaibhav? Hi, Vaibhav. Hi, Vaibhav. You'll have to unmute yourself. Hi, Vaibhav. Can you hear me? Oh. We seem to be having many connectivity issues on his side. Um, Hope to get him back again. Thank you, people, for being patient. Uh, okay. Hi,
Yes, can you
Vaibhav.
hear
Can you
now?
hear me?
Is it clear?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Hi, sorry.
Yes. Okay, so let's
Yeah,
let's begin before we lose you again. So, can you share a little about yourself?
Yeah, so you already know the name, Vaibhav. So
Right.
I'm living in a farm near Hyderabad currently. Basically born and brought up in Mumbai, called Amchi, Mumbai, and had a wonderful childhood days in Goregaon. Parents puts me in a Gujarati medium school. That was a privilege to study in your own mother tongue, and for that I'm so much grateful about my parents that they did a right decision putting me into a school where you have been taught in a Gujarati medium school. At the same time, it has its every side has its own positive and negatives. So I didn't like science because in science they give you all these English names and all that part. So but coincidentally, I went to a science stream, did my masters from University of Mumbai. While doing my masters in physics, I met scientists. I worked with them with close quarters, and I was kind of dreaming to be a scientist myself and do PhD and all that. It was the same time I started coming in contact with Bhagavad Gita, Gyan Yoga by Vivekanand, and other such metaphysical and spiritual part. And this question came up: what is science? What is spirituality? And in that quest, I found that both are same in a way. They are all looking for the truth, how the world is made up of, and living from that one principle, the core principle of the nature.
Mhm.
And in that part, I found that I had not been taught science properly,
Mhm.
which scientists requires in real life work, or once you want to pursue a career in science. So I said, why not teach younger children? So while still being in a master's, I started working with children once a week. After a year, I found that this will not work. I have to literally train myself into this field and then help in science and human values. These were the two areas. So I started looking for an institute. Another year passed by, and I came across this beautiful institute called Mirambika in New Delhi, which is an alternative space. So I went there for their teacher training program. It's a 3-year teacher training program there they have. So I've
Mhm.
been there, gave my 3 years of time after my masters, and I learned a lot. Actually, my education, my real learning started there. So whatever I learned,
Mhm.
whether it's a science or a maths or a history or English and sports, like, so I went there at around age of 24 or something, and a lot of alternative stuffs and a lot of physical stuff like learning hockey to football and trampoline to crafts and a clay and singing and dancing, playing guitar. Everything of learning actually started and uncovering many of my myths, fears, facing them, and discovering myself. Who am I? That was the journey. And I served there for another 2 years. I
Mhm.
left that place 6 years ago in search of like coming out and doing some research. So that was the motive. I left to do some research, and it didn't happen as I wanted, kind of in a proper institute and all, because I found that everyone is stuck with certain notions and their own belief. And when if
Mhm.
I want to do a research with this concept of science and the spirituality with the sustainable living and all that, I have to put into practice and continue doing my own experiments. So that is what I am doing till now, and exploring myself. In between, I took certain jobs in schools. I volunteered and I visited different areas of India for a half a year to just see how the curriculum are being implemented, what are the issues children faces, teacher faces in a regular schools, and what kind of approach we can give. And there are homeschoolers, there are alternative schools. How we can really go to that root cause of the education problem, not surface level. Certain parts in a maths you can resolve, certain parts in a language. So I wanted
Mhm.
to go to the root of it, and somewhere in that process, I came to this community Anahad here in Hyderabad, which gave me that freedom to continue exploration and experiment.
Oh, we've lost Vaibhav again. I hope he comes back soon. So while we wait for Vaibhav to come, maybe if the viewers have any questions, y'all can start typing them out in the comment section and we'll take them as he comes back. And here he is. So Vaibhav, you can
Yes,
continue.
extremely sorry. Today is I don't know. I'm also in a new place. I'm trying out first time from this place to connect online.
Mhm,
So it's a little
mhm.
trouble. It's fine.
No problem. I can
Uh,
see with the background, at the background, you're in the beautiful outdoors, and I think that is amazing. It is it pretty hot out there right now, though?
I'm sitting in a shady place. That is the issue actually. If I go in a
Okay.
hot, I would get the connection.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So maybe you can
Yeah.
continue. You.
Yeah. So this experiment is going on. That what is that root problem in education? If that one thing is solved, everything is been solved. That kind of a quest.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
trying to figure it out. What is a true education? By reading, by doing, and by
Hmm.
knowing yourself, who you are. I found that if one gets to that root, other things are kind of at surface level. Even if you provide every child with the laptop or best internet connections, all top teachers and all that, it will not work out. You can get thousands of textbooks. Everything is available now on your fingertips, but that will not solve real issue. And that issue is
Hmm.
actually connecting with yourself, connecting with others, connecting with the nature. So if that connection, that pure, that what brings that life, right? If that life
Hmm.
is not been brought, whether you do homeschooling, you do alternative school, you do unschooling, whatever you do, it will not have
Hmm.
that real education. So that's what the pursuit is all about right now.
Right. Right.
So it would
Yeah.
be interesting if you can put one pointer or some question, then I can flow again.
Yes.
Something
Yes.
pops
Yes.
up.
No, in fact, you've shared something so beautiful with our audience, and it is about this connection. You need to have a connection with yourself before you can connect to books, textbooks, teachers, friends, people, your neighborhood, nature, anything. And that's such a immense and intense thing to share, and at such a young age you've got this insight. I am in my 40s, and I think it must have been about 4 or 5 years ago that I started realizing that everything I do is connected with me. So first I need to know, who am I and what am I connected to myself? Do I love myself? And only then, and things start looking bright and beautiful, and you can make things work for yourself.
True, true, true,
so
true.
so you
Then it becomes
I
experiential.
Yes, it becomes experiential then. Yeah, so I would like to know, Vaibhav.
I'm not, I'm not, I'm not able to hear your question. Can you repeat? Sorry.
Yes, 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 I'm
Can you
going to
repeat the
repeat my
question or
question.
what you said?
Yes, I will. What I want, I'm just sharing the question. I've not shared it as yet. What I wanted to know was, when did this shift happen? Like, you were on a path like every other child. You did your graduation, then you did your post graduation. When was it that you felt that you need to do things differently, or what you were doing was not helping you? Oh, we've lost him again. Uh, There, he's back again. Yeah, you're back again.
Hello.
So, did you get my question, Vaibhav? Hi, can you hear me, Vaibhav? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great, great. So I'm going to repeat my question. So my question was about when did this shift happen in you? You were moving a. We've lost him again. Sorry guys. Vaibhav does seem to have a lot of connectivity issues. Hope to see him back here soon. Okay, here he is back again.
Yeah. So I got your
Hi.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, can you hear me? Is
Yes,
this
yes, I can hear you.
audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're audible.
So the change happens. The change comes when we are disconnected. So this disconnection over this internet issue gave me the answer of your question. Then we are disconnected with our inner network, our true self. You feel
Mhm.
uneasy. There is something which disturbs you. There is something which so this disconnect happens, and if you are aware that there is a disconnect, there is the imbalance, you are not living that happy life, right? So you start searching it out. You start figuring it out. You put your hands together, you put your legs together, you start moving around, you start searching out because there is some imbalance, right? Just like you are physically not fit, you are not healthy, you something is missing.
Oh, we've lost him again. So,
Yeah, is it? Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, you're back again.
so
So, you're giving us a live example of the disconnection and the connection.
and this keeps on happening, like, so I had it from the very childhood somewhere to serve people, all these noble ideas and thought to be with people and serve somewhere, right? So
Mhm,
initially when mm, I was in 10th grade or ninth grade, there was some assessment. One of our computer pers- professor did, he set up the lab and all that. So he did what you call aptitude test kind of work. Okay, and I was at
mhm,
that point of time in 2000, I was very much influenced by Amartya Sen winning a Nobel Prize in economics. So, like, it's kind of a big moment for India, right? And you read
mhm,
about Amartya Sen a lot. So I said I will also study economics. Okay.
mhm. Okay.
So when I completed my 10th examination, I declared in my home that I want to take up economics, and said, boys don't take economics.
Oh,
Boys
wow.
takes commerce or some science. They become engineer. They become something that way, right?
Mm,
And I don't wanted to go into commerce. So to take economics, you have to go either in commerce stream or you have to go into art streams. So
right.
art streams was like, it's only a girls streams. Boys don't go. You had been into a boys school and all that. Where is the earning? And my favorite
Mm,
subjects were history, geography, languages, not the science. But I was clear
mm,
that I don't want to become accountant or something. So, and I wanted to, and I cannot go to arts because I saw I would not be right fit.
mhm,
Also, I had been a shy boy also my school life, so I had not much of interaction with the other gender people much, except my sisters and some people in neighborhood. So that was
mhm,
another issue. So I said I dropped the idea of going into arts. And
mhm.
when I took a science stream, I had no clue what to take. I was searching for some college which can still give me economics as a subject. Like 20 years ago, that was a kind of a dream.
Right.
Nowadays, there are more possibilities that you can still
Mhm,
take physics and economics together.
mhm.
At that
Right.
point, there was nothing like that. There
Yeah.
was one college still in Mumbai who were offering that combination, but for
Mhm.
some margin, I missed admission in that college. So I was a bit
Okay.
disheartened.
Mhm, mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
so Then continues this disconnect kept on happening. Ideas keeps on coming. People keeps on suggesting you can do this, you can do that. So my professor suggested you can become a doctor. I tried out. I said that's not it. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
incline me. Then somebody told me you can do something in actuarial science, statistics. So I took a statistics as my major when I started my degree college. But I
Mm-hmm.
found this is kind of a same thing. There is nothing fresh. There is nothing to do in statistics. Same numbers.
Right.
Even though I scored maximum marks and I was liking it, but I said this is not. And that was the time I started falling in love with physics, thanks to H.C. Verma's book. So
Mm-hmm.
in his book, Concepts of Physics, very first chapter, on a very first page, second last line, or in a last two paragraph, how he explains is this is the natural sciences which you are learning. And
Mm-hmm.
how does scientists learn is scientists, it's like a game of chess going on. Two players are playing and you want to learn how to play chess. So what you do is you stand and you observe. And as you go observe, you figure it out. What are the rules? How to play that game? And then you
Mm-hmm.
start playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that struck me very deeply. So I started doing that little bit more unconsciously, not that consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And now I realize that this is what scientists do. We observe things at such a deep level that something new, something fresh comes up.
Right.
So that was the
Yeah.
first turning point. I knew I have to do something in physics.
Mm-hmm.
Second came when after my graduation, just after my exams, I joined BARC for my 3 months training program. It was a kind of a, you can say, training internship, whatever name one wants to give it. I was lucky again.
Mm-hmm.
So from my father's money, I used to travel and go for 3 months. I spent there, worked in a nuclear physics department with scientists, and that was the time I realized that we were not taught science.
Mm. Right.
They asked me to do calibration, do testing. They said, you design your experiment. And I was like, yeah, I am graduate. Tomorrow, like I would get a certificate of graduation. I have appeared for the exam. And I don't know how to design an experiment. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, what I have done? What is this
Mm.
education system? So I started disliking this education system which we have created, which doesn't
Right.
teach you how to design your own experiment. All that
Mm.
same table, you mug up that table, you can easily manipulate any experiment. But
Right.
the basic is you observe, because science doesn't believe. Even today, why I need to do it is at same time is different now. Place is different. So if, even still today, that principle holds true or not, I need to verify. Whether it's an
Right.
ancient science, what our Rishi Muni told us, or a modern science, I still need to
Mm-hmm.
verify in today's time. I have a much refined detector, much more refined, better quality devices and instrument to detect them
Mm.
nowadays. So they gave me some new, very new detector had came from France, uh, and it cost somewhere around 2 crore, 4 crore rupees at that point of time, some 15 years ago. So it was like I cannot term it like what it was. Like somebody
Mm-hmm.
gives you that 2 crore rupees instrument in your hand and say, you have to calibrate, you have to test it. We are going to use in our experiment. And I don't know how to design. So I studied that. A scientist helped me how to do that. The experiment also took place. I went to TFR for that 3 night, like 2 night we were just awake. Things are
Mm-hmm.
going on, computer is recording so much of connection, so many things going on, and like you cannot see actually, yeah? There is no atom, there is what is happening inside, you cannot see. What you can see is some data is gathering over the computer, and whether things are working or not, temperature is maintained or not. That is the only thing, it's under your control. Rest is happening,
Mm.
nothing much. And I was deeply into it, and that was also the time I started somewhere this inquiry about what is life, how this atom is made up of, and all that part.
Mm-hmm.
So I started hating somewhere this education system.
mm, mm,
And this inquiry took a serious turn. So I started a Bhagavad Gita, but not from a one person. I never followed one teacher. That's what one of my math science teacher told me, that in ninth standard, what he told, like, don't study from a one book. He gave an example of one of the scholar boy who had who was a rank holder. So what he shared was that he take up all the 21 sets and different books,
mhm,
reference books and all that, 5 6 books, and from that he used to create his own material. So I took up
mm,
that one idea from what my teacher told me. Even in 10th, I did that. So I never studied from a one book. Never depended on a something guidebook. Everything was me. I am the guide. I have to experiment. I have to put in my words.
yeah.
So which rarely happens. Like even in a traditional school. So what I started doing is I had a three different sets of Bhagavad Gita's translations and their interpretations in a different ways put
Mm,
forth. So I started studying them. Alongside, I was reading Swami Vivekananda's Gyan Yoga book, his lectures on Gyan Yoga.
mhm,
And in that, he tells to do one experiment, one small experiment, which is see, very simple experiment. I can share. It's nothing secret. It's a very open secret to see
I
God
would
in
love to
everyone, see
hear
good
it.
in everything, right?
Mm,
And I literally started
yeah.
practicing it. Detach and see
Mm,
God in everyone. Like you start with that, and that experiment worked. That
mm,
experiment worked, and I got some experience out of it. I observed something out of it.
yeah.
But coincidentally, circumstantially, whatever the way it was arranged is my exams were going on, and I was very studious, very so-called sincere student, going to
Mhm,
library, sitting there from 7 o'clock in morning till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and before the Mumbai rush hour starts, getting into the train and coming back to home and still
mm,
studying, continuing this reading of Gita and the Gyan Yoga and all that. And what happened? There was a break of 4 5 days between my exams. And
mhm,
coincidentally, I came across few articles which was talking about national open schools dropping out from the education systems, talking about all those great dropouts from the system and what they have achieved and all that. So I really
mm.
started detesting the, and to add
Education.
little bit more spice into it, when I speak truth nobody believes. It feels like that. So in a college days when they ask how much you have studied, you must have studied all that and all, but I was disturbed. Something had happened emotionally, something
Mm,
in my house, and I was disturbed. I read those articles and I was disturbed within.
mm,
And so I didn't study it that well for that paper. Okay, so I told very frankly that I have not studied. Literally, I have not prepared well for examination. And my
mhm,
friend joked around and said, "You are speaking lie. You are a scholar, this and that, and all that. I am good in memory, so I can score. But otherwise, I'm
mm.
very pathetic." So he told me that. I said, "I will, in a 1.5 hour, I would be out of the examination hall." And something happened. So, in fact,
Mhm.
to write the examination, I used to carry Bhagavad Gita's quote in my paper as a chit. I used to carry
Oh.
because that motivation had been gone to write the examination. I had to, like Arjuna, to fight that war. I had to motivate myself to appear for the examination. And I lost my mind, my cool over there. So instead of
Mhm.
answering the questions, even though I knew all the answers, I didn't wrote the answers. I wrote the questions. I wrote to that exam paper corrector, whatever, whoever it is. I wrote that these questions you are asking, you have answered in this way, in this way, in this way.
Oh no. I think there's some this that whenever Vaibhav is talking about something so interesting, we lose him. And here he's back again.
Yeah.
I was just sharing with the audience that every time you're sharing something juicy and we lose you. So
So what
we've got
happens now? This is what happens in sadhana. Something very juicy comes, it traps you. It's like that bee
yeah.
you have to floating. You have to get it and then come out, else you can get that trap. And that had kept on
Right.
happening with me. It happens
Mm-hmm.
till now many times. So in examination hall, I couldn't write down the answers.
Mm-hmm.
I went for a two last paper of my MSc exams, part one exams, and I couldn't write the answers. I wrote back in answers like some random theories, some philosophy, some poems. And even I mentioned that there was two things which I was clearly aware about. One question which had came in March 2006, and they are asking in March 2008 or March whatever year. Same question. I said, why you are asking me the same questions? If I have done all the past 5 years questions, I would easily answer your questions. Another question I remember, which was from October 2005 paper, that was a problem in physics, electronics communication. It has a three part, A, B, and C. What
Mm-hmm.
this paper setter had done was C part, put it at the top as a, and then B and C as it, like change the order. And you cannot come to the third level until you solve actually the A part. And here he
Okay.
did completely opposite part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to confuse the
Examiner.
children,
Okay.
not children, young adult. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured it out like, how is it possible? You are asking something to prove first, which you cannot do until you find out the value, or you cannot prove certain things. And same thing, you
Mm-hmm.
are asking to do that as a third part of that question.
Mm-hmm.
So either you have
Right.
lost your mind, or you cannot create a different questions. So we are not
Mm.
prepared. See, you study 10 years question paper set, you can easily score 70, 80%, 90% if you are a good
Hmm.
student, right? So I had been spoiled by this education system. So I started detesting it, that I don't want to appear for exam. I would fail.
Mm.
Even if I
Mm.
call dropout, it is fine.
Mm.
Something will do.
Mm.
I will do something in education. I would bring some revolution. That was the kind of a youthful
Mm.
energy I had.
Yeah. So tell me something. Did
And
you pass in that paper?
uh,
Did you pass in that paper?
obviously not. Obviously not. I didn't wrote the answers. How I'm going to pass? I failed. I
Okay.
failed.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then
that
when you
year
failed,
it
how
was,
was sorry, what was the
yeah.
reaction of your parents, when they saw that you have
But this was
failed?
not the first time. This was not the first
Okay.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I did that in a ninth standard also. I had done that in my TYBSc final graduation exams also. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't score first class
Mm-hmm.
because something else must have been planned. If I had scored first class, just 2% or 3% less than first
Mm.
class in my graduation exams too. Else I would have easy selection into other areas avenue also. Same thing. My friend told me something. They didn't came to playing during ninth standard exam. Something was going on after my tuition class. I hated tuition, so
Mm.
I don't know why parents send their children for a tuition. That's
So
another
tell me
story.
something, Vaibhav, because since we are
Yeah.
talking about all this,
Yeah.
um, what was your parents' reaction when you decided to, opt out of this rat race and get into teaching and to learn how to teach and how to learn yourself, because you had realized that whatever you had learned was nothing, and you wanted to know more? What was your parents' reaction?
They were disturbed. They didn't show. That's another issue with typical Indian family, and particularly a middle class. The grow up and the culture we have in India, it's not that yet. You don't express yourself much, first of all. You remain inside more. And if it's
Mm,
a male dominated society, which is there right now, that expression part is very, very less. It's nowadays with, also it's not that much prevalent. You don't really share, you don't really open up. So that's a common household culture in our society present till now. It has
mm,
changed a good extent, but still you don't share and express it out easily, right?
mm, mm.
So what you start doing is you start pretending it, you start deceiving it, you start covering it up, you start, or you, there are very few who can become a rebellious and really go out, right? So
mm,
good part was I was truthful and honest always, sincere in a
mm,
way. So after exam, I
mm,
had told I'm going to fail. I don't want to study. So they
mm,
asked me what you want to do and something. And again, nobody believes when I speak truth. So truth is very hard to digest. It's a very bitter pill.
mm, mm,
So they were upset. Obviously, they were very much upset. But
mm,
what I that was one point I was not honest with them. That I was also
mm,
not that strong enough to tell what I want to do because I myself didn't had a clarity what exactly I'm going to do. Everything was kind of a running behind some dream. It's a risk.
mm,
You
mm,
fail or you pass out. So
mm,
I used to always make up some stories that I would do this, along with this I will do. So somewhere I was try to bring some balance, somewhere
mm,
that they are also happy. But I start doing that part, following whatever they are trying to do. But
mm,
eventually I made somewhere a piece. I appeared one more time. Again I fail. Again disturbance in the mind. Then in
mm,
my third attempt, somewhere I was able to bring that balance in my mind. Only with that
mm,
one thought, वो एक कहानी है ना जो हमने सुनी है that वो अंगूर खट्टे है. So I don't wanted to
mm.
become a person who can say अंगूर खट्टे है. I wanted to become a person who says after tasting tell that कि अंगूर खट्टे है. So I passed my MSc examination. So I have done my education, but I know कि ये अंगूर सारे खट्टे हैं. ये मीठा अंगूर नहीं है. ये सारे
Okay.
खाना है तो आम खाओ, अंगूर के पीछे क्यों लगे हुए हो?
Yeah, and this year the mango crop is not very good because of the rains, and then the Konkan region
Yeah,
had a lot of the cyclone was there and all that. It damaged
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of things
So
there.
that's
Okay,
so
that's
फल खाना है
digressing
तो
from the topic. But
no, that is the topic.
कि अंगूर अच्छे खासे आए इस समय, लेकिन आम आएंगे कि नहीं पता नहीं.
So एक्सपीरियंस कर लो, उसको एक्सपीरियंस कर लो यार, उसके बिना विदाउट एक्सपीरियंस डोंट टेल इट कि ये खट्टा है या मीठा है. चाहे वो स्कूलिंग भी शायद अच्छी हो सके, पता नहीं मेरे को, पर सबके लिए शायद वो नहीं है. तो now they are okay with it. They know that I'm on a good path. So I never revealed that I want to become a teacher. Neither I want to become a teacher. Is my voice audible? You are able to hear?
Yeah, yeah, I'm able to hear. No, this time there was a connectivity issue from my side. I think
Okay, okay.
generally nobody goes online when I'm doing my live session, but right now my husband, my son, I have some
Okay.
friends over here. They all went online at the
Lot of
same time.
connections. Yeah,
Yes, a lot of
yeah. So we live in
so
that
so we
pool of connection. Yes.
Yes, yes. So we are back again.
Yeah.
I, now to move on, I would like you to share a little about the workshop that you're doing tomorrow, and
Hmm.
also how did you come to start doing these different workshops? Because I know
Okay.
that
So
some days ago you had announced a workshop called SA that was integrating science and music. So, could you share a little about, how this approach developed, and what is your intention behind doing these workshops?
yeah, sure, sure. So as I was sharing that one part, what I read in a H.C. Verma's book about that observation. So all that observation part, I found that that's a key. That's the first key for any work, whether you are in a arts or in a science. Any stream you go, observation is your uh, point to connect with that subject and go till that core. Right. So any discipline you take, whether you want to become a chef or a chartered accountant or you want to become an engineer, it's that observation which helps you. Then you obviously to communicate, you learn the vocabularies, you learn certain skills and all. But observation is that one skill which has to be done every time fresh, every time new. So I had been observing this. So I wanted to bring this balance because in my life I saw that there is this so much of disparity between science and arts, right? Even till today, we kind of put it here is or there. And this observation, I found not only you can do outside world, for your inside world is also important of your emotions, of your own belief, of your own perceptions, and going till the core as far as you want to go. It's a personal choice, but at least this outer observation has to be refined, and this inner observation, at least you should be aware about your thoughts, about your emotions, so that you live a balanced life. And doing that, what I found is the word sa actually. I'm not doing anything with the music. I'm not a musician or a musical person. Huh? The word only I have taken from the music. Only there is another person by name Kanika. She conducts music workshops with me and with me in the science. So my workshops are not musical, or I don't teach music or a singing or anything. But that sa, that it starts with the sa, it ends with the sa. It's that nodal sound which every artist, the singer connects with. They have to tune in with that one poise. In a dancer, they have to come to that samasthiti. In a Bharatnatyam, in a Kathak dances, you have to come that one poise. You have to take that poise, then you begin. When you start singing, you tune yourself with that sa, and you begin. So that's how that word came. And I said, you need to observe and observe to a level outside your work for whatever skills you are developing and your inner domain too. And as you observe, you would figure it out how to really concentrate. You would reach to a highest level of concentration where your idea and your thought are in alignment with your emotions, which motivates you to, which moves you to take actions, and your actions, your speech would in a such a way aligning, they are converging to that one point. So whatever you are observing, you can really concentrate and take it to that one point. And from that one point, you can extract it out that essence. So getting to that essence is the important point. Surface, I'll take that analogy of that bee, right? They go to that core, take that essence out, and they enjoy the nectar. They don't enjoy the petals and other things. The real stuff is there. So how to get there, how to find out your balance, how to know yourself. And by doing that, because we are doing observations, God has gifted us with this beautiful instruments, this body, beautiful eyes, ears. These are our instruments. Scientists has to develop their instruments to detect, to
Mm,
observe. Same thing, they
mm,
are doing the same thing. But can I
mm,
do the science experiment with my body, sound experiment with my body, light experiment with my body, heat
mhm,
experiment with my body? So
mm,
my senses, my body is helping me to do the experiment. So I'm learning science, but not more with the outer instrument, the external instrument. I have this tool, instrument given. So I'm
mm.
refining my senses in that process. Also,
Wow.
that helps me to connect to my inner part, my inner body, because I constantly, like right now, there are so many sounds coming. You might not be able to hear. So whatever small amount microphone is able to catch, you are able to hear. But right now
Mm,
I can hear the hustles of the bushes here. There are two birds which are calling me there. There is another farmer who has at 4:50 onwards, he has switched on his tool to avoid the wild boar. He has started at 5 o'clock. I don't know why. So they put up that sound. It keeps on creating that sound that I am there. Some farmer is there. So I can hear it. And so many inputs are coming in into this detector. Huh? This is a detector. So many inputs are coming in. Despite all that, my teacher asked me concentrate. Listen to me only. How can I listen to you only? So many things are coming in. I'm not just seeing this camera and your video. There are so many other things around me. How can I concentrate there? I'm hungry. It's 11:30 in morning. My class is going on, but I'm hungry. My stomach is calling me. My mind would
mm,
go and wonder what is cooking in the kitchen or what my mother might have made it. Can I
mm,
concentrate? you cannot concentrate. You need to train yourself. So whether you are homeschooling or schooling, whatever you are doing, if you have not learned this art, you are gone. So only one thing I picked up, and that's what I'm working is. So when Swami Vivekananda was asked, or he told, I don't know exactly where, but what I have read is this. Swami Vivekananda says that if I have to do my whole education again, I would do only learn only one thing, and that is concentration. The concentration is whole. Rest of the thing is nothing. And then he goes on, and somewhere else he says, at my will I should able to concentrate, and on my will I should able to detach and move my concentration to something else. And I feel like, man, this is the power. I don't have it. I require too much amount of effort. Like, and once I'm concentrated, many children are naturally concentrated in the subject area of their interest. But can they put concentration or something you don't like, and still you have to do it?
Right.
And mostly the answer would be no. So how we can help children, how we can help parent to develop this observation and concentration as a skill, and really get to that, start eating that nectar of that subject, because every
Right.
subject has that nectar. It is your
Mm-hmm.
preferences, okay, your preferences, but don't tell maths is hard. Like third standard
Mm-hmm.
student, first standard students nowadays start telling me that maths is hard, I don't like maths. Parents labels them because, or they just leave it. In a homeschooling, that is another part which happens, that only the interest subjects you do, it's fine, you don't do maths because you don't like it, or you, why you do not have to become a mathematician. But then you are missing that nectar which that subject gives you. It's a different nectar, that essence. And that's a love basically for that subject which needs to be
Right.
developed. So that is the name, love to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole kind of thing. What's my, I call my program or the website love to learn .xyz. So from
Okay.
anyone, from anything, anywhere, my learning goes on. I'm learning something. Right now also when I'm speaking, I'm learning, I'm finding it out that the moment some higher juices, even a drop comes, I want to be with that drop so much that I lose my other connections, my inner connection, because I want to utilize that immediately. But there is a
Mm-hmm.
flow coming. Why I would just get okay with one glass of it and go away from that flow?
Right.
That flow is going on. Just be in that flow.
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
whether I answer completely. Tomorrow's
oh
is a
yeah.
special day. Let me
Mm-hmm.
answer that about
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes. And then I
Tomorrow
have
is
a
a very
question.
special day for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So tomorrow is Einstein's birthday. So he's a very celebrated genius of last century, and I don't know, we can call it of our time, but still I feel it's our time only. All the time are ours only. So it's his birthday, and tomorrow is also a very special day, being a 14th of March. So if you put the dates in American calendar format, months, date, and the year. So forget about the year part, just a month and date part. So it would be read like 3.14, which is the value of pi. That one constant which one requires. That is the sa. What sa I'm talking about is that one constant everyone has to find out. That center point, which comes as a division between circumference and the diameter.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
finding out that. So tomorrow we are going to do some experiments, keeping this, as I said, our body and our mind in mind, and we would relate, we would go through some, revisit some of the paper Einstein published, his life journey, his relation with the education, and his last attempt. So for me, his last attempt is very much crucial, and lot of work still needs to be done. So his last
Mm-hmm.
pursuit, incomplete pursuit, was unifying theory. He wanted to unify all this, because you can study same thing from the light, you can study same thing from electromagnetism perspective, you can study from a thermodynamics perspective, you can study from the earth and a gravitational perspective. He wanted that one formula applied, one theory applied, and everything can be explained. Everything.
Mhm.
Today in education, physical education treated separately, इमोशनल सोशियो इमोशनल सेपरेटली, एकेडमिक्स तो पूछो ही मत, वो तो इतना सेपरेशन आ चुका है कि हम लाइफ ही नहीं रखे उसके अंदर, और आर्टिफिशियली लाइफ घुसेड़ने की कोशिश करते रहते हैं. सॉरी टू स्पीक इन हिंदी, इट कमिंग इन
No,
हिंदी
no,
ओनली. आई होप दैट इज फाइन.
talk in any language. Yes, yes. You
हाँ.
ગુજરાતીમાં ભી બોલું છે. I'm not very good in Gujarati.
નહીં, ગુજરાતી કદાચ નહીં આવે એટલું જલ્દી, પણ हाँ, तो अभी तो ये हालत है कि अगर कविता भी आती है, जब भी मैं कविता लिखता हूँ तो कभी वो इंग्लिश में आती है, कभी हिंदी में आती है, कभी गुजराती में आती है. तो आइडिया लेवल पे जब काम करते हो तो कुछ लैंग्वेज नहीं होता वहां पे. तो लैंग्वेज है, वो एक्सप्रेशन है. हमको बाहर का वो फॉर्म्स ही फॉर्म सिखाए जा रहे हैं, पेटल्स ही पेटल, लीव्स ही लीव्स दिए जा रहे हैं. वो कोई जूस चखाता ही नहीं है, वो नेक्टर चखाएगा. अगर मैं आपको नेक्टर चखा दूं, सेहत चखा दूं आपको, फिर आपको वो शक्कर गुड़ सब फीका लगेगा. आप चाहोगे ही नहीं वो सब करना. तो बात वो है कि ऐसे लोग मिलना, ऐसे टीचर मिल जाना जो आपको वो सब्जेक्ट का जो रियल टेस्ट है वो चखा पाए. अगर वो आपको बस पत्तियां पत्तियां देते हैं तो वो नहीं मिलेगा. So I lost what I was sharing about. You can ask me
No,
a question now.
yes, I will. You've shared something so important. In fact, इससे मेरा एक अगला सवाल आता है क्योंकि many people who get into homeschooling, unschooling, वो लोग ना though they say they want to do things differently and they want their child to enjoy learning and education, they end up following the same old traditional path. They create a school at home, bring in textbooks, bring in try and do assessments of their children and all that. So being a youth, what would your advice be to all our homeschooling parents, like um, how should learning be for their children and what can they do to enhance this learning?
First of all, I would actually like to congratulate them, those who are taken up this bold step of homeschooling, because that is also not that easy task, right?
Mhm.
To provide all these things on your own and cater that need, right? So at the end, you are catering certain needs of a child. And my wish and my part is observe your child. Your child would tell you. And as a parent, you have that sense that is God gift to know what exactly your child needs. Just like mother knows what time the child needs a food, this gift is also there. Only thing is that we don't experience it. What we go with this some theory that somebody has said that after 7 years you need to do this, at 4 years you need to learn the writing. But that's a theory. Go with your experience, observe your child, start learning, observing your child. The moment you start learning that, your child would give you a clue, enough clue what your child requires and what is the right thing for the child to learn. And just follow that. Nothing more than that is asked. You would get it. After certain points, like as the child grows, you need to start impersonalization, kind of a little bit of a detachment, and start seeing from a little far. But that's another process. It requires a lot of observational part. And if you can find out some good people, you are in a community or somewhere, that's a wonderful point, that you are in a group, because every individual has a blind spots. I also have my own blind spots. So it is always good be in some groups who can show you some of your blind spot, because we would miss out certain part. Out of my own interest, my preferences, I would like incline towards certain things. But my child might not be that, because that's an individual journey. That's a unique personality. That's another individual, not you. It need not share the same interest, same liking, same preferences. But because you go to art school, you go more to the museum or something, or you are more into coding or something, child would take definitely interest and do that part. But out of your preferences, don't do. Observe your child and see what really suits. The child gives the clue. Child I don't want to use the other word. The inner friend of the child gives that clue. There is that inner friend which sits here that gives the inner clue. They have the connections. It's we who tells them not to connect and remain at some another level, at emotional level or intellectual level. But every young child below 4 years, 5 years have it. Nowadays, that has been reduced a lot because we cover it up and we ask them not to look into that part much more. It's a dangerous thing. But I would encourage parent to observe. For me, observation is and knowing the need of that child, and child tells you. Just like mother knows when to feed the child. Whether child is crying for a hunger or child has done a susu potty or a child has demanding something else or it is just the seeking attention, why the child is crying. The mother knows it. So all mothers, all father knows it. It is just they have to be with that child. Observation is the key. And this observation has to be non-judgmental, always new and fresh. So these are the keywords I'm giving. It has to be non-judgmental, not coming from some theory. Don't observe from some theory which you have read. If you have those theory, your belief, and you observe, you would observe that only, or the contradiction of it. So observe with your openness, with that freshness, without any biases, without any judgment. And it's a tough task for a parent, but
Yes.
that's the only way I know and I can share.
In fact, since you were sharing about this, just yesterday in our parenting circle, we had this wonderful coach who basically talked about this itself. She said that, whenever we recall any experience, we are we have already concluded about it, and we are not talking about what exactly happened. We are not saying,
Right,
suppose if it was a conversation with somebody else, we don't talk about the tonality, the tone in which the conversation took place, or the weather outside, or the expressions that were given, or what was exactly said. But we jump to conclusions. We say, oh, she was so mean, and she did not say this properly, and she was rude, and we don't actually, so those are our judgments which come in our way. So we had this beautiful exercise where we learned how to focus on what actually happened rather than
right.
the inferences and the deductions or the conclusions that we have made. And I think that is something that we all need to follow, so that we do not judge, and we see things with an open mind, and we are truly able to observe, what is happening with our child, with the environment in which the
Right.
child is in, what the child is actually saying to us. So
To
so
do
that is
this
a
at this age, to do this
yes.
at this age, like looks like a very difficult task. But if you
Hmm.
train the children in this way of
Yes.
observation and with the connecting with the science concept, doing the experiment,
Hmm.
children are able to get it, and their observation, their senses are so true that
Hmm.
I live in a community. We have few children, and their observations are more powerful. They know exactly what is the difficulty other child is facing, the younger children, and they
Hmm.
are they are brilliant. They have it. It is we we ask them conclude fast and express it. We don't even ask them to conclude. This is the expression. Just go and express it out. This. Just tell your
Yes.
teacher this. This is written in a
We tell
book.
them how to conclude.
No, we don't tell them how to conclude. We tell them this is the conclusion. Go and tell the conclusion.
Yes.
So then there is no life.
Yeah. True. True.
They are not observing.
Mm.
That
Wow.
I like to tell you this one small thing which happened. Like I was zapped when that happened. Very small observation. It was peak summer in Delhi. I was in Delhi in Mirambika at that time, and generally I don't take a tea. But there was some guest or somebody had came along with me, and I felt like I should have a tea. So I took a tea,
Mm.
and it was very hot. Okay, so
Mm.
I'm sitting on that table and I'm waiting to tea to get colder. Okay, and I was trying my own way of cooling. one of the person who is not in our academical sense too much educated person, a very eighth pass guy, what he did sitting in front of me is he had this one katori और उसमें वो पानी लेकर आया ठंडा सा चिलर में से पानी लेकर आया उसमें उसने वो चाय का कप रखा 1 मिनट में वो थोड़ी सी चाय ठंडी हो गई उसने पी ली और मैं उधर 5-10 मिनट से बैठ के देख रहा हूँ कि कब चाय ठंडी हो एंड आई कॉल माई सेल्फ मास्टर्स इन फिजिक्स एंड आई फेल्ट सो अशेम्ड कि यार ये इतना शेमफुल फील हो रहा है what is this I have studied all this science phenomena I know the law but where is this application right and this person who might not have studied this right but this sense this applicability of using science in your day-to-day interaction in life गर्मी लगती है पर खिड़की नहीं खोलेंगे हम अडेप्टेशन में नहीं जाएंगे कि थोड़ा सा सहन कर लो वरना तो हम हमारी कैपेसिटी बॉडी की ही लूज कर देंगे हमको पता है एसी बुरा है ठीक है but why I'm not developing this capacity of adaptation I learn in biology animals adapt I am not much different than an animal why I cannot little bit adjustment and now we are seeing in last 40 years what we have done 100 years what we have done we are polluting and polluting it so just this adaptation this observing and learning from that तो बात उतनी ही है एक्चुअली कि यार हम पढ़ लिख के भी गवार नजर आते हैं और जो
that's true. Okay, so हमारा 1 घंटा तो खत्म हो गया वैभव. अब
yeah
I'm going to quickly, there have not been any questions so far. I would have raised those questions, but I'll just show some of the comments that our
sure
viewers have been sharing on the comments box. You can also go and view the video later and read all the
sure
comments.
anything I
So
can answer there yeah
yeah, so there is one comment which says great work both of you. I don't know why both of
yeah
you. I'm just here
you
as a
have
host.
you are also doing a great work nothing we are
Yeah,
all
and there is
instrumental in this work
yeah, and there's another user which says I'm with you, Vaibhavji.
thank you
Um,
so much
then I was looking for something like that. Now I don't know where it's
glad
comedy.
glad you got connected it
Yes, yes, that is very true. Observation is important. Great sharing. Then uh, there is another comment which says someone lost a KBC game over this Pi Day, Vaibhavji.
oh
I didn't know that. Wow. Then there's another user who says, "Wow, thanks for popularizing Pi Day. With all, will be able to at least know when Pi Day is. Looking forward to the Pi Day session. We
shall I
are also looking.
popularize one more thing
Yes, sure.
uh, I'm sure most of you might not be aware about that part okay and
Mm-hmm.
that is India's New Year.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1954 or 52, one of the prominent scientists of India, he's a genius apart. Meghnad Saha. He later went into politics also and he was the MP, member of
Mm-hmm.
parliament in the first government, like first time the election hold, he was a member of parliament. So he proposed to have a common calendar for India because in India there are multiple calendars. Every region, religion has their own calendar, and it differs to a great extent. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody starts a new month on a full moon day. Afterwards, somebody starts on a new moon day. Somebody would have a Mahashivratri on some day. Somebody had a celebration of something else on some another day. All those many discrepancies are there, region wise. So India as a nation should have a one calendar. That was the proposal sent to the prime minister, and Nehru was very much interested. Nehruji was interested and he agreed. And Nehruji was so much interested actually that he proposed to have a world calendar also.
Mm-hmm.
So Meghnad Saha, along with few people, there was a committee formed and they devised a calendar, which is called India's national calendar. and that is more scientific and more good calendar compared to Gregorian calendar, which we are following this 1st January and February and March, because it's bit illogical calendar. There is no astronomical base. It is not based upon a scientific definition of a time. It's a
Hmm.
random. It's a very
Hmm.
random.
Hmm.
So Meghnad Saha, being a very popular scientist, is created. So 22nd of March, that's the day of vernal equinox, the day when the day and the night are equal. They are exactly 12 hours. Not exactly 12 hours, there are portion of it. To just say 12 hours and 12 hours, 24 hours, that is also not completely true.
Hmm.
Completely
Hmm.
true. Okay. So the day when the night and days are equal, the sun and moons are equally visible,
Hmm. Hmm.
their part. Uh, so based on that astronomical date, they have decided that is the day of India's New Year as per the national calendar, and only in government gadgets and everywhere what you read it out, Shak Savant Sud Chaitra Sud Ek. They have taken the month name as it is from the Indian Hindu
Hmm.
religious calendar. They have kept the month name as it is, but they have
Hmm.
reformed it. There are two types of month only: 30 days and 31 days. First month is, and they are equally spaced. There is no discrepancies. Every quarter are of the equal number. It's a one of the
Hmm.
beautiful calendar they have created. Like, so
Wow.
calendar had been my project I had taken once with the children. So I had studied a lot around calendar, Chinese calendar, Indian calendar, the Mexican calendar, and all different culture and their calendar and all. So I plan to celebrate that too, and that is something I wish like such a great
Yeah,
genius we had in
could
our
have
India.
another we could
Huh?
have another session on calendars with you, on different
Yeah.
calendars. It is quite fascinating to see, and I didn't know that India had designed a separate calendar. So this is new knowledge
So
to me.
I feel we should celebrate the New Year like our own way. We
Hmm.
have our own calendar. We should be so proud. Such a
Hmm.
scientific calendar we have. No other country has scientific calendar as such.
True. Yes. Okay, we are running short of time, but I know
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
went on and off many a time. So I'm going to just
Yeah,
share one question. May I know the location of your community in Hyderabad? Uh, this
yeah.
viewer is based in Hyderabad. So,
Google it. Google has the answer. So it's called Anahad. And there is a written in a Hindi script. That's the way you would figure it out. It's around 60 kilometers on outskirts of Hyderabad in a Vikarabad district. So name is Anahad. Name of the community is Anahad.
Anhad.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Anahad.
you can Google. We will also post
I will
a
put a
little
link on the comment. It would be showing
yes.
in a comment. I would put the link later on.
Put that later.
Yeah,
Okay. And there's another viewer who wants to know tomorrow's workshop details. So before Vaibhav
which
answers, we have a poster and information about it on the Homeschooling India group too. And Vaibhav has already shared that it's about celebrating the birthday of Einstein and the Pi Day, and I think rest we should keep as a surprise, right? And no point in
yes,
sharing everything.
we are going to
He's
do
already
experiment.
shared.
If I tell you everything, then
Hmm.
you will not observe what needs to be observed, and you would think already conditioned mind that this is going to happen. So you would keep on thinking, ये कब होगा? ये हुआ, ये नहीं हुआ, ये वैभव ने बताया नहीं. I want you
Hmm.
to observe. I want you to learn that art with the help of Einstein and the pi day and all that. So we are going to do some experiment. So for that, some open mind is required. A blank slate is required, so the freshness can be lived.
Hmm. Lovely, lovely. So the link to join the Zoom session is there on the post on Homeschooling India group. In case you are not able to join the Zoom session, the entire session will be broadcasted live on Homeschooling India group, so you can view it on the Homeschooling India page in on the group too. So, but I'm sure if you join the Zoom session, your experience will be more personal and you'll be more involved in it. Here, you will just be a spectator. So, if you want to join it, do look at the post and share your and sign up for it. And we will once again put the link to the post in the comment section once this session is over. And on that note, I want to thank Vaibhav. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you
have
so
shared
much.
so many wonderful insights, mainly about connection with oneself and the quest to find that nectar which brings, which is the essence of everything, is something that it's an insight that I'm going to treasure, and it's going to be something special that I have learned from you. So thank you so much, and see you tomorrow for the
Yeah, see you
session.
tomorrow. Thank you so much. It was lovely
Oh,
sharing and revisiting all memories.
lovely, lovely. Thank you. I'm going to end the broadcast now. Thank you.